We must confront the fact that in this modern era, silence has become an endangered species. The world is screaming, everyone is talking, explaining, and begging to be heard. But what if the person making the most noise is actually the one with the least power? Ask yourself, when was the last time you truly listened without mentally rehearsing your reply, or sat in absolute stillness without instinctively reaching for the distraction of your phone? This is not a new problem. Centuries ago, the Stoics understood that true authority is not found in volume, but in the steely control of one's own tongue. As Zeno of Citium brutally warned us, better to trip with the feet than with the tongue. Think about the wreckage in your own life, the relationships fractured, the respect lost, and the dignity sacrificed, simply because you could not keep your mouth shut in a moment of heat or insecurity. You need to understand that Stoicism is not about being a voiceless doormat. It is about owing yourself the discipline to speak only when your words are more valuable than the silence they break. Imagine walking into a high-stakes negotiation, a heated argument, or a personal crisis with total, icy composure, where your lack of reaction intimidates your opponent far more than any shout ever could. This intentional silence is not emptiness. It is a conscious, strategic choice to hoard your power while everyone around you leaks theirs. It is an active force that shields your peace, confuses your enemies, and commands absolute respect without you ever having to demand it. But how exactly do we cultivate this terrifying level of restraint in a society that is designed to profit from our outrage and constant noise? In this video, we are going to decode the art of the silent emperor, giving you the tactical rules to stop over-explaining, master the pause, and reclaim your authority. I want you to watch this video closely, using it as a mirror to examine every moment you gave away your leverage by speaking too much. What if the next time someone tries to bait you into a fight, instead of snapping back like a child, you simply looked at them and said absolutely nothing? Can you imagine the shift in power, the deep sense of control, and the peace that comes when you realize you no longer need to justify your existence to anyone? Come with us to explore the profound strength of saying less and meaning more. Are you ready to stop being a slave to your impulses and learn this profound wisdom? Before we begin, prove you are disciplined enough to focus by commenting, "I am listening" below, and let's start the training. Who are you trying to impress? Truly ask yourself that. Why do you feel this desperate, clawing need to offer a dissertation every time you make a simple decision? Let's look at a scenario that happens almost every day. Maybe it happened to you this morning. Your boss walks in and asks, "Why wasn't this report done yesterday?" It is a simple, factual question. But what do? You don't just say, "I prioritize the client meeting." No, you launch into a monologue. "Well, you see, the internet was slow, and then Dave called me for help with his project, and I thought maybe if I did this first it would be better, and I didn't want to disturb you." You are rambling, you are sweating. You are vomiting words because you are terrified of the silence. Or think about your personal life. Your partner asks, "Why didn't you text me back?" And instead of saying, "I was focusing on deep work," you send a 3-part text message explaining your entire afternoon schedule, timestamp by timestamp, begging to be understood. You think you are being polite. You think you are being thorough. But let me tell you the brutal truth of what the other person actually hears. They don't hear a responsible, high-value adult. They hear a guilty child. When you over-explain, you signal that you believe your actions are inherently wrong and require a defense. You are negotiating your right to exist. You are begging for validation. You are effectively saying, "Please don't be mad at me. Here are all the reasons why I'm still a good person." It is weak, it is submissive, and it kills respect instantly. The Stoics saw right through this centuries ago. Seneca, a man who navigated the treacherous, deadly courts of Rome, warned us, "He who justifies himself accuses himself." Let that sink in. When you rush to defend yourself before you are even attacked, you are admitting guilt. You are revealing your insecurity to the world. A leader does not explain his decree to the crowd. A warrior does not apologize for his scars. But a servant explains everything. When you explain, you are handing your power over to the other person, acknowledging them as the judge and jury of your life. You are putting yourself on trial for a crime you didn't commit. So how do we fix this? How do we stop leaking power? You are going to implement the one-sentence rule. It is simple, but I warn you, it will feel terrifying at first. The next time someone asks you a question that triggers your insecurity, you give them one sentence, the objective truth. And then, and this is the hardest part, you stop talking. You shut your mouth. Why are you leaving early? I have a prior commitment. Silence. Why didn't you come to the party? I needed to rest. Silence. That silence that follows, that awkward, heavy gap where your brain is screaming at you to fill the void with excuses, that is where your power lives. That discomfort you feel is your weakness dying. Let it die. Watch the other person. They will wait for more. They will expect the excuse, the apology, the groveling. And when it doesn't come, their respect for you will skyrocket. They realize you are not seeking their approval. You are simply stating a fact. Stop handing out your power in paragraphs. Hoard it in silence. Your words are currency. The more you print, the less they are worth. Silence terrifies you, doesn't it? The moment a conversation drops into a lull, your heart rate spikes. You feel this desperate, frantic urge to fill the void. So what do? You start making noise. You stammer, you say and like every 3 words. You laugh nervously at jokes that aren't even funny. You answer questions before the other person has even finished asking them. This is the rapid-fire trap, and it is the hallmark of a beta mindset. You are treating conversation like a game of hot potato, terrified that if you hold the silence for 1 second too long, you will be judged, rejected, or seen as boring. But the irony is, by rushing to speak, you are signaling to everyone in the room that you lack confidence. You are spraying words like a panicked machine gunner, hoping one of them hits the target, but mostly just making a lot of noise and wasting ammunition. The Stoics operated differently. Marcus Aurelius, the emperor of Rome, wrote extensively about the internal citadel, the fortress of the mind. Imagine your mind is a castle and your mouth is the main gate. If you leave that gate wide open, responding instantly to every stimulus, every insult, and every question, you have no defense. The enemy walks right in. The Stoic master uses the pause as a drawbridge. When someone knocks, whether it's a question, an insult, or a crisis, you don't just throw the gates open. You wait, you assess, you decide if they are worthy of entry. Think of the difference between a machine gunner and a sniper. The anxious talker is the machine gunner, spraying bullets everywhere, chaotic, messy, and desperate. The silent master is the sniper. He waits, he breathes. He calculates the wind and the distance, and when he finally pulls the trigger, when he finally speaks, it is 1 shot, 1 kill. His words have weight because they are not wasted. So here is your training. You are going to master the 3-second gap. This is not a theory, this is a drill. For the rest of today, whenever someone asks you a question, whether it is your boss, your spouse, or a barista, do not answer immediately. Count to 3 in your head. 1, 2, 3. Look them in the eye while you count. Do not look away. Do not fidget, just hold the silence. At first, your skin will crawl. Your brain will scream at you that this is awkward, that they think you're stupid, that you need to say something now. Ignore that feeling. That feeling is just your insecurity dying. but watch what happens to the other person. In that 3-second gap, they will lean in. They will stop multitasking. They will realize that you are not reacting, you are processing, you are thinking. And in a world of reactive, mindless noise, a thinking man is a dangerous man. By the time you finally speak, you have already won the interaction. You have established the rhythm. You have shown them that you operate on your own time, not theirs. Stop afraid of the dead air. Dead air is where your authority is born. Make them wait for your words, and they will value them infinitely more. Most people think that in an argument or a negotiation, the person who talks the most wins. You see this everywhere. Two people shouting over each other, veins bulging in their necks, desperate to get the last word in. You think that if you can just explain your point one more time, if you can just layer on one more logical argument, the other person will submit. But that is a lie. The moment you start over-talking, you have already lost. You are showing your hand. You are revealing your desperation to convince them. And in the laws of power, the one who tries the hardest to convince is the one who holds the least authority. Epictetus, a man who spent his early life in chains as a slave, understood the power dynamics of speech better than any modern CEO. He famously said, "Nature hath given men one tongue but 2 ears, that we may hear from others twice as much as we speak." This is not just a nice philosophical sentiment, it is a tactical instruction for survival. When you are the one speaking, you are the one giving away intelligence. You are revealing your emotional state, your insecurities, and your bottom line. When you are listening, you are gathering ammunition. Let's look at the brutal mechanics of this. Imagine you are in a negotiation. Maybe you are asking for a raise, or maybe you are buying a car. The other person gives you a number that is insulting. The amateur reacts immediately. "That's too low. I worked so hard. I deserve more because of X, Y, and Z." You are justifying. You are dancing for them. You are bidding against yourself. Now look at the Stoic approach. This is called the stare technique, and it is one of the most devastating weapons in your social arsenal. When someone gives you a low offer, or even when someone disrespects you with a rude comment, do not speak. Do not react. Look them dead in the eye. Keep your face completely neutral. No anger, no fear, just a blank, heavy stare. And wait. The silence that follows will be excruciating for them. Human beings are socially conditioned to fear silence in conversation. It signals rejection, it signals danger. Their brain will panic. They will feel an intense biological pressure to fill that void. And because you aren't filling it, they will have to. Watch what happens. They will start to backtrack. They will start to negotiate with themselves. "Well, that's the starting number, maybe we can move it up." Or, "I didn't mean it like that. I was just joking." You didn't have to argue. You didn't have to raise your voice. You simply let the weight of your silence crush their resolve. You let them fill the void with their own insecurity. This is the ultimate power move because it requires zero energy from you. You win the war without firing a single shot. Stop trying to out-talk people. Let them talk themselves into a corner, and then, when they are exhausted and exposed, you take what is yours. Look around you. Walk into any coffee shop, any train station, any family dinner. What do you see? Rows of zombies, heads down, necks bent, thumbs scrolling. The blue light reflecting in glazed eyes. We have become a species of responders. We live in a state of constant, low-grade anxiety, waiting for the buzz, the ding, the vibration. You see those 3 little dots, typing, and your stomach tightens. You see a message that says "read" with no reply, and your mind spirals. Are they mad? Did I say something wrong? You feel this compulsive need to reply instantly, to prove that you are reliable, that you are a good friend, that you are available. But let me tell you what you really are. You are a servant. You are a digital slave to anyone who has your phone number. If anyone can reach into your pocket, vibrate a device, and command your attention instantly, you do not own your life. They do. Seneca, in his masterpiece on the shortness of life, wrote, "People are frugal in guarding their personal property, but as soon as it comes to squandering time, they are most wasteful of the one thing in which it is right to be stingy." Think about that. You wouldn't let a stranger walk into your house and steal your money, but you let strangers, apps, and spam emails steal your focus, your most non-renewable resource, hundreds of times a day. You are squandering your life on digital noise. And here is the brutal truth. You are available to everyone, so you are valuable to no one. Scarcity creates value. Gold is valuable because it is rare. Air is free because it is everywhere. If your attention is free, if your replies are instant, you are air. You are background noise. It is time to master the art of the ghost. This doesn't mean you disappear and become a hermit. It means you stop being on call. You are going to reclaim your time. Start with this. Turn off all non-essential notifications. All of them. Instagram, news alerts, random group chats. If it's not an emergency, it doesn't get to buzz your pocket. Create communication windows. Check your messages at 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 8 p.m. In between those times, you are a ghost. You are working. You are building your empire. You are training. When people ask, "Why didn't you text me back immediately?" You don't apologize. You say, "I was focused." Watch how they look at you. They won't be mad. They will be jealous. They will wish they had the strength to disconnect. By delaying your response, you signal that your time is high value. You signal that you are not just sitting around waiting for a ping. You are a man on a mission, and if they want your attention, they will have to wait for it. Be the ghost. Be the one who is hard to reach, not because you are playing games, but because you are busy building a life that actually matters. Let's talk about the lowest form of conversation that exists: gossip. You know exactly what I'm talking about. The water cooler talk, the group chat that never sleeps, the lunch break spent tearing apart a colleague or a mutual friend. It feels satisfying in the moment, doesn't it? It feels like venting. You tell yourself you are just blowing off steam. You think you are bonding with people by sharing a common enemy or laughing at someone else's misfortune. But I want you to look closely at what is actually happening. When you gossip, you are not bonding. You are rolling in the mud together. Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, had every reason to judge the people around him. He was surrounded by liars, schemers, and incompetents. But he wrote a strict command to himself in his private journals. Don't waste the rest of your time here worrying about other people, unless it affects the common good. Why deprive yourself of the time for some other task? Read that again. Why deprive yourself? When you spend 20 minutes talking about what Dave did wrong, or who Sarah is dating, or how stupid the government is, you are robbing yourself. You are taking your finite mental energy that could be used to build your empire, train your body, or sharpen your mind, and you are throwing it into the trash. Here is the brutal truth. Gossip is the currency of the weak. People who have no mission, no purpose, and no internal life discuss other people. People who are building a legacy discuss ideas and action. And here is a warning that might save your life. If someone gossips to you, they will gossip about you. There are no exceptions to this rule. That friend who tells you everyone's secrets. They are telling everyone yours the moment you leave the room. You are not safe with them. You are just their next headline. So how do you stop this? You starve the beast. Gossip is like a fire. It cannot survive without oxygen. And you are the oxygen. When you nod, when you laugh, when you ask, and then what happened, you are feeding the beast. From this moment on, you are going to apply the silence or change rule. When the conversation turns to gossip, you have two moves. Move 1, absolute silence. Do not nod, do not smile, do not validate them. Stare at them with zero emotion. It will be awkward. Good. Let them feel the weight of their own pettiness. Move 2, if they keep going, you simply say, I don't think we need to talk about him when he's not here, and you change the subject. Or you simply walk away. You will lose friends doing this. The weak will feel judged by your silence. Let them go. You are clearing the room for high-value people who respect dignity. If you are ready to cut the drama out of your life, I want you to make a commitment right now. Go down to the comments and write, I will not engage. Signal to yourself and the world that you are done with the noise. Why do you feel the burning need to broadcast your life in real time? You walk into the gym, and before you have even lifted a single weight, you are posting a picture of your shoes with the caption, grind mode. You have an idea for a business, and before you have sold a single product, you are telling your friends over drinks that you are going to be the next CEO. You are addicted to the premature victory. When you announce your plans, your brain releases a hit of dopamine. You feel the satisfaction of the achievement without having done any of the suffering. You get the applause before the performance, and that is exactly why you never finish what you start. You already got the reward, so why do the work? Seneca, a man of immense power and wealth, warned us, to be everywhere is to be nowhere. When you scatter your intentions to the wind, you dilute your power. You are spreading your energy thin for the sake of cheap likes and half-hearted congratulations from people who don't actually care about you. But there is a darker side to this, one that the ancients understood well. They called it the evil eye. Now, you don't have to be superstitious to understand the psychology here. When you tell people your big, ambitious plans, you are not just sharing news. You are inviting their doubt into your life. Not everyone wants you to win. That is a brutal pill to swallow, but swallow it you must. Your friends, your family, your colleagues, they are comfortable with who you are right now. If you suddenly announce you are going to become a millionaire or get in elite shape or move to a new country, you trigger their insecurity. They will say things like, "Are you sure that's safe?" or "That sounds risky." They aren't trying to protect you. They are trying to keep you down in the mud with them. When you reveal your hand, you hand them the weapons to sabotage you. You give them the power to question you, to plant seeds of doubt in your mind that grow into weeds of hesitation. You need to adopt the strategy of protection through obscurity. Be a submarine. A submarine does not float on the surface, honking a horn, waving a flag. It moves deep underwater, silent, invisible, undetectable. It creates zero drag. It focuses all its engine power on forward momentum, not on a surface show. You need to learn to love the shadows. Do the work in the dark. Build the business in the dark. Train your body in the dark. Let there be a gap between your current reality and what the world sees. Let them think you are just coasting. Let them think you are average. And then, when the work is done, when the result is undeniable, you surface. You don't announce what you are going to do, you show them what you did. This creates a shock factor. It hits them like a physical blow. Because they didn't see the struggle, they can't deconstruct your success. They can't critique the process because they never saw it. To them, it looks like magic. To you, it was just discipline in the dark. Stop giving away your blueprints. Build the empire first, and let the results be the only noise you make. Let's be honest about the most dangerous emotion you possess. Anger. We have all been there. The blood rushes to your face, your heart starts hammering against your ribs, and the red mist descends. Someone cuts you off in traffic, your spouse makes a sarcastic comment, or a subordinate messes up a simple task. In that split second, you feel a surge of energy that screams at you to react. You want to yell. You want to slam your fist on the table. You want to send that vicious, all-caps text message detailing exactly why they are an idiot. And when you do it, for a fleeting, microscopic second, It feels like power. It feels like justice. But let me tell you what it actually is. It is slavery. You are not in control, you are being puppeted by a chemical reaction. Seneca, the great Stoic philosopher, wrote an entire book called On Anger, and he defined it perfectly. Anger is temporary madness. He didn't call it an emotion, he called it insanity. Because when you are in the grip of rage, you are literally out of your mind. You are incapable of reason, you are incapable of logic, and you are incapable of seeing the consequences. I want you to stop right now and look in the mirror. Look at the wreckage of your past. How many relationships have you fractured because you couldn't keep your mouth shut in a heated moment? How many times have you said something cruel, something designed to hurt, only to immediately regret it the moment the words left your lips? You can apologize. You can say, "I didn't mean it." But we both know that's a lie. In that moment, you meant it. And the person you hurt knows it too. Words are like bullets. Once you pull the trigger, you cannot call them back. You can patch the wound, but the scar remains forever. How many career opportunities have you torched because you snapped at a boss? How many nights of sleep have you lost replaying a screaming match in your head? If you continue to let this temporary madness rule you, you will end up a lonely, bitter old man, sitting in the ashes of everything you built, all because you lacked the discipline to be silent. So here is the protocol. The next time you feel the red mist, the next time the anger rises, you do the one thing that feels impossible. You shut up, and you walk away. I don't mean you storm off slamming doors like a petulant teenager. I mean you calmly remove yourself from the situation. Society tells you that walking away is a sign of weakness, that you are running away from the fight. That is garbage. Staying and screaming like an uncontrolled child is weakness. Walking away to protect your peace and the dignity of the relationship is the ultimate strength. It takes a warrior to feel the fire and choose not to burn the house down. Go for a walk, lift weights, stare at a wall. Do whatever you have to do until the madness passes, and it will pass. When you return, you will be clear-headed, logical, and dangerous. You will address the issue, not the emotion. You will speak from a place of authority, not from a place of tantrum. The man who can be provoked is a slave. The man who remains silent in the face of chaos is the master. There is a massive difference between hearing and listening, and right now, most of you are failing at both. Be honest with yourself. When you are in a conversation, what are you actually doing while the other person is speaking? Are you absorbing their words? Are you analyzing their tone? No, you are rehearsing. You are formulating your next sentence. You are waiting for them to take a breath so you can jump in and prove how smart you are. You are treating the other person like a background track to your own solo performance. This is not communication, it is narcissism, and it is a strategic disaster. Epictetus, one of the sharpest minds in history, laid down a law that destroys this ego-driven behavior. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. If your mouth is open, you are not learning. If your mind is busy crafting a comeback, you are not observing. You are blinded by your own arrogance. You think you already have the answer, so you miss the nuance. You miss the hesitation in their voice. You miss the lie they just told you. You miss the intelligence they are handing you on a silver platter. Here is the cold, hard reality of power dynamics. The person talking is the one giving away power. The person listening is the one taking it. When you speak, you reveal your position. You reveal your values, your fears, and your plans. You are giving the enemy ammunition. When you listen, you remain a fortress. You are an enigma. You are gathering intel while they are emptying their magazine. So how do we flip this switch? You need to move from passive hearing to active silence. This is not about zoning out. It is about becoming a vacuum for information. The next time you are in a conversation, I want you to play the role of a spy. Your goal is not to impress them, it is to understand them completely. Maintain intense eye contact, nod slowly, lean in. Give them your absolute, undivided attention. Do not interrupt. Do not finish their sentences. Let the silence hang there. Humans are desperate to be heard. We are starving for attention. When you give someone this level of focused silence, it is intoxicating to them. They will feel important. They will feel understood. And because of that, they will lower their guard. They will tell you things they didn't intend to say. They will reveal their secrets, their weaknesses, and their true intentions. While they are busy feeding their ego, you are busy feeding your strategy. Stop trying to be the smartest person in the room by talking the loudest. Be the quietest person in the room, and you will end up being the one who holds all the cards. We have talked a lot about the external world. We have talked about gossip, negotiations, and text messages. But none of those tools will work if you are at war with yourself. You can glue your lips shut, but if your mind is a chaotic storm of anxiety, regret, and future tripping, you are not silent. You are just a noisy person holding their breath. The greatest enemy you face is not the rude boss or the annoying spouse. It is the monkey mind. It is that voice that wakes you up at 3:00 a.m. replaying a mistake you made 5 years ago. It is the voice that narrates your every failure, that tells you aren't good enough, that spins hypothetical disasters that haven't even happened yet. You are living in a constant state of internal noise. You are physically present in the room, but mentally you are miles away, fighting ghosts. Marcus Aurelius, a man who led armies and ruled an empire, knew this struggle intimately. He wrote, "Nowhere can man find a quieter or more untroubled retreat than in his own soul." Think about that. He didn't say the retreat was a beach in Hawaii or a cabin in the woods. He said it was inside. But for most of you, looking inside is terrifying. You can't sit in a room alone for 15 minutes without a phone, a TV, or a distraction. Why? Because you are afraid of the silence. You are afraid of what you might hear if the noise stops. If you cannot sit with your own thoughts, you are a slave. You are running from yourself, and you cannot outrun your own mind. So how do we quiet the war within? We don't do it by suppressing thoughts. We do it by extracting them. The practice is simple, but it is brutal. Stoic journaling. This is not a diary where you write about your crush. This is a tactical offloading of mental waste. Every morning or every night, take a piece of paper and dump the noise. Write down exactly what you are afraid of. Write down exactly what made you angry. Get it out of your head and onto the page. Once it is written down, it loses its power. It becomes objective. It becomes something you can look at, analyze, and dismiss. When you do this consistently, you create a vacuum of peace in your mind. You stop reacting to every random thought. You develop a mind like still water. When a rock is thrown into a still lake, it ripples and then it returns to stillness. That is the goal. Not to be a rock that feels nothing, but to be water that cannot be broken. Master the silence inside, and the noise outside will never touch you again. We have covered a lot of ground today. We have stripped away the excuses, the over-explaining, and the reactive weakness that has held you back. You now understand that silence is not empty. It is full of answers. It is the canvas upon which you build your authority. But understanding is not enough. Philosophy without action is just entertainment, and I know you are not here to be entertained. You are here to evolve. So here is your mission. I challenge you to a specific test of will. For the next 24 hours, I want you to speak 50% less than you normally do, and I want you to listen 50% more. Resist the urge to fill the gaps. Resist the urge to explain yourself. Just observe. Watch how the dynamics in the room shift. Watch how people scramble to impress you when you give them nothing but your attention. You will see the world differently because you are no longer part of the noise. If you are ready to accept this challenge, if you are ready to join the few who lead rather than follow, then make your mark. Go down to the comments and declare your independence. Write this affirmation: I am the master of my tongue, and therefore the master of my fate. Do not let this be just another video you watched and forgot. Let this be the moment you stopped being a leaf blown by the wind and became the stone that the wind breaks against. Don't tell me you're going to change. Show me. Silence is the ultimate roar.